A federal judge is calling out the Trump administration for not complying with her order to facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the U.S. after he was mistakenly deported.
Bring home Kilmar now.
Judge Paula Sinise said there will be, quote, no tolerance for gamesmanship or grandstanding, and she says she expects all hands on deck. After yesterday's hearing, Garcia's wife pleaded for justice.
And I pray that the same community strength that has lifted me flows through those judges supporting her to bend the power towards justice. Kilmar needs to come home, and it's time we see how exact this will be fulfilled.
CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman joins me here in Studio 57 with the latest on this. You've been following every twist and turn of this trial. Katrina, good morning to you. In what ways was yesterday's hearing an escalation?
Good morning, Errol. So the judge has made it clear that she wants to get to the bottom of this as soon as possible. She even told the government's lawyers that they should cancel their vacations. She has ordered discovery, and she's allowing depositions to start. 4 officials, some of them ICE officials, are going to be deposed. And she has set a very quick timeline for this, too, because she says that every day that Mr. Abrego Garcia is in this prison in El Salvador is causing him irreparable harm. She is not yet taking this to the level of holding the government lawyers in contempt or officials from the government, but we could reach that point if they don't comply with her orders, Errol.
And if we think back to President Trump with El Salvador's president speaking about this case, they both sounded defiant and as if his return would not happen at all. So if this judge holds Trump officials or the DOJ in contempt, what does that mean? I mean, could this be a constitutional crisis?
I mean, that's the question, really the phrase that we keep hearing, Errol, and we're going to see where this case escalates to. There are options here. She could sanction officials. For example, she could sanction Secretary Kristi Noem if they don't comply. We could even see her take steps maybe to try to avoid that, where she begins to refer lawyers for potential disbarment on these cases. So there are potential actions that we could see her take, but we are absolutely seeing this battle between the judiciary and the executive branch come to a head, whether or not they're going to comply with what she is asking for, because there has just been this total defiance from President Trump, and we saw the other day President Bukele.
Democrats are pouncing on this. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen actually traveling to El Salvador. What might that Democrat and others accomplish? So
he just posted this morning from Dulles Airport, and he's saying that what he hopes is he hopes he'll get the chance to see Kilmar Abrego Garcia, to check on his condition, to let him know that people are fighting for his return. And he also hopes that he'll get to meet with officials in El Salvador. It doesn't sound like any of that is definitive yet. My understanding is that he has asked for a meeting with President Bukele, but he is going down to check on Mr. Abrego Garcia and see what he can do to help with these negotiations.
Fascinating to watch this all unfold. Katrina, thank you so much for
giving us
the latest. Let's jump over to Natalie Brand at the White House for more on the Trump administration's response. Natalie, good morning to you. How is the White House responding to this judge's comments?
Good morning, Errol. Well, what we saw yesterday is administration officials continuing to call Abrego Garcia a criminal without giving evidence. They also allege, that he has ties to the MS-13 gang based on allegations from a confidential informant based on his past court case. But keep in mind, there have been no convictions in the United States, and the administration still has not provided, reporters or the public with a lot of evidence about why they allege that. This is something that his family and attorney disputes. And, while the administration says it's up to El Salvador to release him and that they would then facilitate, meaning provide a plane to bring him back, In a court filing ahead of yesterday's hearing, the DHS general counsel said that if he were to arrive back at a port of entry, he would be detained in the United States and then deported to another country separate from El Salvador, where that earlier court ruling said he could not return for fear of his safety, or that he would be detained pending the administration trying to remove that earlier ruling that gave him that withholding status, saying that he could not be deported to El Salvador. That would require his immigration case being reopened. So really the administration here digging in, saying that even if he were to return, he would likely face another deportation.
Well, we'll keep watching that closely. I want to ask you about another development fresh this morning. President Trump supposed to meet with a negotiator from Japan today to discuss tariffs. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we knew that the chief negotiator from Japan was visiting the United States to meet with the Treasury Secretary and other officials regarding these ongoing trade and tariff negotiations. But just this morning, the president himself tweeted that Japan is coming today to negotiate tariffs and the cost, he says, of military support. He says that he will attend the meeting along with Treasury Secretary Bessent and the Commerce Secretary. So that is new information to us. His schedule, we didn't have much information about what he was going to do earlier today until a dinner this evening for the Holy Week of Easter week. But really, this signals a moving forward by the administration with trade negotiations with certain allies, including Japan. They've also referenced South Korea and Vietnam as moving forward in these trade negotiations during the 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs for trade partners, except for China, of course, where we've seen this escalating trade war. And on that topic, it still remains to be seen when President Trump will speak to Chinese President Xi. Yesterday, Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, was asked about that, and she said the ball is in China's court. They need to make a deal with the U.S., Errol.
All right, Natalie, with all those updates, we appreciate it. Thank you.